have watched my third video of YT people crying on this internet because they own Red Note and they've learned how expensive it is to be a racist corporation nation. That is what the U.S. is. And all these people keep saying, one girl just said she got $450,000 worth of student loan debt to become a lawyer. And it costs like $800 to go to law school a year in China. A year, y'all. So let me give y'all a little bit of a history lesson for my YT people who are just awakening to the world that Black people have told y'all has existed since they so-called let us go, right? We have told you racism is expensive. It's so expensive because you guys used to have free college. Racism brought about college being the cost that it is. We could never get to free universal health care because Black people would receive it. Racism is expensive. You guys got rid of all of the free parks and pools and programs once the Civil Rights Act was passed. This was America's downfall. The Civil Rights Act. Being civil was y'all downfall. And y'all crying on the internet for what? We told you. You had to go to China. Your citizens, your fellow citizens, because you never paid attention and you never really saw us as fellow citizens. So you had to get somebody in China to tell you, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. This is unacceptable. You shouldn't accept it. You shouldn't tolerate it. No, you needed someone else to tell you. How does it feel to know your country bet on racism over everything else? Technology advancement. China looks like a futuristic movie, but it ain't the futuristic movie. It's reality. And we are in an oligarchy, right? Oligarch. And, well, not we. Because I find it so funny. A lot of these videos, all of these creators get on here talking about some we. They all speak French now. Because Black people have been known this. And every time I see one of those videos, I'm commenting, Black people told you this for centuries, that this was wrong, that being able to just completely control people, ignore their rights as citizens was dangerous territory. And because it wasn't happening to you, or you thought it wasn't happening to you, because I don't know, y'all ain't never been on a plane to another country to prove that America isn't the greatest nation on earth. It's just not, you know. It's the most controlled. It's the most manipulative. It's the most marketable. I will say we're like, the U.S. is number one at marketing, which is lying, you know, in their case, because they're not offering anything. How are you the greatest nation? You greatest at locking people up? Greatest at debt? Greatest at uneducated of your majority population? Because Black women are the most educated here. Police brutality? What are y'all great at? Oh, giving money to government, military. That's what we great at. And I don't even know how great we're going to be at that. Look who they trying to get in charge of it. That ain't going to last. I say this to say, if you're watching this video at this point, do the work. Because we're not going to. We did it already. But I'm glad y'all learning that y'all already are slaves and been slaves. Now you're just slaves that know you're slaves. It reminds me of a movie called The Girl with All the Gifts. If anybody's read that book or watched the movie, the book was better. The Girl with All the Gifts really displays how it was a concept of the girl is a zombie, but she doesn't know it. It's a really good book. I recommend the book 10 out of 10 over the movie. But it's a really interesting concept because it's like this awakening people are having on Red Note. It's like that movie. Y'all didn't know you were already a slave. You were already powerless. They practiced on us. You didn't know it, but we did. So it's kind of like somebody standing next to you and being like, y'all, we zombies. Y'all, we're not really alive. Y'all, they actually holding us hostage. Because in the book, she thinks her teacher, like, she doesn't understand why her teacher is afraid of her. You know, she doesn't understand it because she had no self-concept, self-awareness. That's what it is. Y'all lack self-awareness, situational awareness, because y'all like stories. You like to be told who you are. You don't like to demonstrate that, right? That's why we see all this MAGA DEI stuff, and not in a qualified way, but non-qualified way. This is what we're dealing with, y'all. And until y'all do the things y'all saw us do and demand more, good luck. Because we beat like hardcore slavery. So we just don't expect what y'all expect. And y'all get over there shocked. We know it's better, you know, because we see y'all get better. Well, we did. I don't know about no more. But we used to see y'all get better. So we always knew, you know, there was always more, you know. And as someone who likes to travel, you know, I've been blessed. I've been to Dubai. That's not that doesn't look real either. Like, you go to Dubai, just go to Dubai's airport. And you like the US is number one at what? I really don't understand. And I maybe because I haven't done my research in terms of population, it's really just our military. And that's gonna catch up eventually. I'm really shocked at this point China is behind us, because I'm trying to understand how. Technologically, they're far advanced. They're far ahead of us. But good luck with that $450,000 worth of debt, girl. That's crazy. Maybe y'all should protest, advocate, get some rights, demand something of the people who actually supposed to be representing you. Maybe y'all should. Or maybe y'all can get everything Trump promised y'all. What you think?
Good times to really be alive. Why am I saying so? Because I never thought that one day the sun will rise, the sun will set, and we'll get to see this day come to happen. Just a few months ago, white folks, those who made the wrong decision, at least not all of them, but majority of them indeed made the wrong decision. But why I'm doing this video is that I'm trying to address this issue of you thinking that you're doing something because you're sabotaging for another person without thinking that this thing is going to also be sabotaging. It's called self-sabotage. And well, you thought that you are digging somebody's grave, you are also digging yours, and you are going to fall with that third. Now, white folks are getting to learn that racism is damn expensive. Why am I saying so? Because they chose Mr. Donald Trump on the basis of racism. They chose Mr. Donald Trump on basis that they thought that this person is going to be solving all the problems that they have, the problems that the initial president that was there couldn't solve. But as things took turn, they came to realize that it's really not how they thought. Sorry, my mic is kind of, stubborn a little bit. We're going to be solving it. Yeah. They thought that these all problems that they are going against are only for black folks, and it's right decision to choose Mr. Donald Trump. While Kamala Harris was a little bit controversial because some people are discussing about how she's not black, how she's Indian, but at least she was close. When we talk about proximity to blackness, at least we could say she was close to blackness. And black folks try to warn all these white folks that made the wrong decisions that they made, and later on they came to realize that, damn, we made a big mistake and it's going down for us. Well, if you think that I'm lying, I want you to watch this video. It's really, really revealing that we are all getting to learn and see how all these things happen. So let's watch the video. I'll be back. And for those who are watching us for the first time, I'm your host and presenter, Agent Stories. Welcome, and let's see the video. I'm just asking you, if you're watching me for the first time, I'm just asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join my membership, and really get to what I can offer you. But until then, let me see you on my video. I'll be giving you my thoughts and commentaries in regards to all these things that are happening. So let's buckle up for this. I'll be back.
So racism has always been expensive. It's always been expensive. It's just, they always thought that they would have the fee. They always thought they would have the fee in hell. For a good minute, they did. They had the fee to give. See, the problem is now they don't have the fee. They don't have the fee. So it's becoming a problem. And rather than stop trying to pay the fucking fee, y'all will literally kill yourselves and kill the reputation of this country, of this nation, trying to pay a fee that y'all should have been stopped paying. Okay? Y'all should have been stopped paying. When colleges went from being tuition free to tuition based in in the 1960s, that was all because y'all couldn't stop us from getting educated anymore. So you wanted to put a roadblock in there. You wanted to make it harder for us. We didn't have the capital like you guys did. So you added tuition. The reason why America doesn't have universal health care is because that means everybody would have access to it, that including people like me and you. And they don't want that. They thought that they would always have surgery money. They thought that they was always going to have outpatient care money. You understand? Private doctor money. Hell, I'm not going to an office. I can always have them come to me. That's what they thought they was always going to have. And as they started to see that they were losing leverage, rather than stop paying the fee for racism, they said, bitch, here, take my arm, take my leg, take my organs. To the point where you guys are where you are today. Still trying to pay a fee. Going out of your way to pay a fee. That literally is killing you. It's killing you. And then now that you're starting to realize that y'all really did fuck around a little bit too much, you want my pretty black ass to get up out of my seat to come and fight for you? Oh, you're fucking stupid. Oh, you're beyond stupid. You're beyond my pretty self. You see me? Y'all see my brothers and sisters? They fine too. We supposed to get up out of our seats? Up out of our beds? And I heard a white woman literally said, black people, stay where you are. I would never take no advice from white people unless it was on how to be selfish, because that's the only thing that I think that they can give. However, this white lady said, do not get up out of your seats. You want to know why? They want us to get out and be in the streets so that now they can plot to kill us. Us doing exactly what we're doing. Like, this is why they so hot. This is why they 50 degrees. Like, they hot because they wanted us to come out there so that we could be fucking sitting ducks. Especially considering they done seen how fucking expensive racism is now. But it's always been like that. Y'all just didn't care because y'all had the fee.
Racism is expensive. And I think this is a lesson that people are slowly but surely starting to learn, because we have entered the point of fuck around and find out. So for people that aren't aware, Nebraska is going bankrupt. They are bankrupt because, well, all the immigrants are gone, and it's not like the white people there are running the farms by themselves, because let's be real here. When have white farm owners ever done the work by themselves? Regardless, now they're asking that orange bitch that is on the verge of death to bail them out. Which is so funny, because bailing people out, bailing a state out is such a socialist thing to do. That is socialism, babe. But no, we don't like socialists here, right? We don't like that. We don't like socialists. But now you need that socialist type of behavior, a socialist type of policy to help your ass. When you fuck around, you find out. All these people that are now losing their health care, their jobs, and now they're saying, like, I didn't think this was going to happen. And a lot of it too is because a lot of people, I've realized that a lot of far right people are not aware that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing. They think they're different. So they hate Obamacare, of course, because it's Obama's name in it. But they love the Affordable Care Act. Well, it's gone because it's the same fucking thing, babe. And it's interesting. And it's so crazy that, too, they're also not aware of the fact that sometimes the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare is just named under a different, it just has a different name in certain states. So you may think, oh, well, it's not my health care that's going to get taken away. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is your food stamps that are going to get taken away. It is your EBT, your SNAP benefits, all of that TNA assistance, all of that shit is getting taken away from you. And what I especially do not understand is white poor people. White poor people. I really, like, I don't know if y'all even watch this because, like, I mean, you probably haven't listened this long enough because you guys don't actually like to listen to the truth. But y'all need to wake the fuck up. Like, babe, you are still supporting a billionaire man. That billionaire has, every billionaire in the United States combined all together could literally completely eradicate homelessness in this country. They are part of the reason as to why you are so poor. They are using you as a pawn in the rich white man's game, not the poor white man's game, because there is no poor white man's game that could ever be won, because you do not actually have the power nor the influence that you may think you have. They trick you and they brainwash you into hating the black person next door, the trans kid across the street, the immigrant next door who's actually doing more work than you've ever done. And they are training you to hate these people when they are the real enemy. Even former presidents have commented on this and are aware. This has been a tactic in the Republican game for decades. For decades. All that FEMA assistance from Texas that didn't show up. The help that didn't show up. These are the same people that you voted for that are fucking you over time and time again. And you're just sitting there letting them and taking it like a little bitch, because that's not the real issue for you. The real issue is the hatred that you have. You let hate and your hatred for other people, for minorities especially, take such a precedent in your life that you literally cannot even sit back and think that I am just as fucked as they are. That they do not give a fuck about me either. And granted, sure, obviously there is still white privilege. And there are still certain things that, may happen to a minority that may not happen to you. But when they're done with us, who do you think they're going to come for? They're going to come for the poor white people. You're not excluded from this. They see you as trailer park trash. You are white trash to them. They do not give a fuck about you. They have proven that time and time again. They want to take away your health care. All that federal funding that you get, while you guys are also so busy sitting here hating on California, even though California has literally, the GDP of California alone is bigger than 90% of any other country in the world. You do understand that, right? You need California. You need our money. And you're going to sit here and hate? How about you redirect that attention and focus and put that on to the people that are in office right now? You are voting for you voted for a convicted pedophile who associates himself with drunks, pedophiles. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, at what point, how many times do you have to be fucked in the ass for you to realize that you are actually being fucked in the ass? I don't get it. At some point, it's amazing to me that class consciousness has not happened yet. It really is, because, babe, they don't fucking like you. Wake the fuck up and realize that. They use you when it's convenient. And notice, as soon as they get the chance to fuck you over, they do. But you hate socialism. You hate liberalism, all these other things where people actually do try to take you into account. Everything that's being cut, especially you people in the southern states like Mississippi, Alabama, y'all are some of the brokest motherfuckers in the country. You need the federal funding more than anybody. You need the help. But you voted against your own fucking interests? Like, make it fucking make sense, because it doesn't. Why do you think college in the United States is so fucking expensive? Because they didn't want black and brown and Asian kids to go to school. So then they created the idea of tuition, and now tuition is absolutely ridiculous. America has tuition like no other country in the world. And guess who that also impacts as a result, as an effect of us being impacted, of minorities being impacted. You, poor white people, can't afford to go to college. That's part because they were trying to be racist to us, but you also got dragged down into that shit. But at the same time, you're against DEI. You're against all these policies that try to make college more affordable. You're against student loans being erased. Make it make fucking sense. Racism and hatred is expensive. And y'all do not have the financial standings or the socioeconomic status to be expensive. Wake the fuck up.
Yo, I just saw this dude from basically the news channel about stocks exchange maybe a couple months ago talking about how he's all for tariffs. And he's on the internet, on Fox, crying, screaming about how Trump don't know what he's doing when it comes to these tariffs. I am just like in awe of this FAFO movement. Like, this is turning out better than any movie I could have expected. Because, like, my hope was that he would be incompetent so that it would just make it plain that racism is expensive. And he's made it so expensive within 2.5 months. I couldn't have dreamed this up. Like, there's no script we could have written that would show you how colossal of a mess up. And this is what happens when you hire based upon skin color and not competence, and based upon gender and not competence, because he is uneducated, he is undisciplined, and he's not a leader. We have our soldiers not being greeted after they gave the only sacrifice that you can give that you can't give again, which is their lives, to train to support this nation. And he was golfing with foreigners, like people not even from here. He had time for, but not the people who were training to support Lithuania had time to stand up and greet the soldiers, but not their commander in chief. That's number one. He's destroying the economy. Destroying it on purpose. All of these corporations who voted for him, all these influencers who voted for him, who hyped him up, losing millions, 27 million, 20 million here. They really thought that this was only for them. And then we have the Supreme Court stepping in. What do you say? Not for democracy. Stepping in to keep a man in prison in an El Salvador prison that they all know he has no business being in. Y'all great? Racism is great. I'm not seeing it be great for you. But this, and I will end this with this. This tells me everything about this moment, that 80% of the Confederacy that went and died for the Confederacy didn't own slaves. That's MAGA. These are your grandkids. MAGA is the grandkids of the Confederacy soldiers who were willing to die for things they could not have, for an idea that someone told them belonged to them. And that's what MAGA is doing to everyone. Racism is expensive. It will never not be expensive until y'all decide it's not worth it.
Racism is expensive. It costs money. It costs lives. It costs empathy and humanity. And that's what we're seeing now. We are seeing a regime that is perpetuating racism, and it is costing lives. And I think there is no clearer example than yesterday when 9 government agencies were dispatched to Los Angeles to try to round up a horde of what they said was MS-13 immigrants, violent people, in the middle of a neighborhood at a park, when there are still people missing based on the floods from Texas. Racism is expensive. Can you imagine the millions of dollars it costs to put on this show of force in Los Angeles, in a blue state, in a blue city, while there are people that are still looking for their loved ones? And it's not red and blue, it's racism. It is extremely expensive, not just in capital, but in casualties. When you build an entire budget around ensuring that you are stripping the humanity from the citizens of the country that you're supposed to represent and emboldening racism, hatred, bigotry, you are funding G-side. You're funding it through Alligator Auschwitz, through ensuring that ICE has $170 million. That's a lot. It's more than several countries' military budgets combined. Racism is expensive. At some point, we have to decide that it is not okay to pay the price. Okay to pay the price in capital, and not okay to pay the price in casualties.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all Black folks that really tried to fight for the truth, really tried to fight for everyone so that everyone can come and get their rights. All I'm just going to be saying is that at least there's a say that says the more you fuck around is the more you'll find out. And this is the perfect definition of what white folks went through. Understanding how racism is expensive. Because all the choices that they made it because of racism. The thought that a black person will come and lead, or at least somebody with the proximity to blackness is going to be leading you, could be a little bit problematic because of your cognitive dissonance, because you can't fathom to see a black person stand in front of you and do the right thing. When we talk about how racism is expensive, we are going to talk about different segments that I'm going to be presenting to you. The first segment is the farmers, white farmers versus black farmers. The second segment is white employers versus black employers. Another part is constructors. Another part is the tariffs and how it has affected all these groups of people. Now, let me begin with farmers. The United States has had an history and still is continuing in this history of discriminating black people from getting all these beneficiary or being beneficiaries to all these services that the USDA is trying to provide for all farmers. Well, they promise that it will be shared equitably, but this is not the same for black people, as black people didn't get the power to also have the resources, also have the products, also have the manpower, or all it takes to make it to be successful as all these white farmers. But what did these white farmers do? Or where did they get wrong? Or where did they learn that racism is expensive? Now, this is what I'm going to be saying. First of all, you get to learn that they endorsed Mr. Donald Trump because they thought that this person is still going to be giving them everything, going to be providing them with loans, going to be providing them with all these services that they could get. And they thought that they are going to get it at the expense of black people. When it turned out that Mr. Donald Trump doesn't care, when he spiked out the tariffs, when he took out all immigrants that worked on your farms for free, over time, they came to realize that indeed, we were benefiting from this. Black folks were never benefiting from this, especially black farmers were never benefiting from this. And right now, when they need a collective voice, even from black people, they can't get it. The saying goes, the more you fuck around is the more you'll find out. And out there, they're in a finding out stage that they realize that indeed, if only we couldn't have accepted all these services at the expense of black people, we at least could have been somewhere so much great, somewhere so much important, somewhere that at least if this thing was happening today, they could have had a collective voice. At least black farmers, at least white farmers and black farmers could have stood together. That's out, and that's the moment that these all folks learned our racism is damn expensive. Also, another part that I would like to say these people learn that racism is expensive is that remember the healthcare. Really important part to talk about. While Obamacare was being offered to everyone, look at how black folks fought for affirmative action, especially black women. Look at how black people fought for education for everyone, and all these minority groups benefited from this, including white women and white folks. And so them coming out and trying to put black people out of this by voting against what black people want them, they thought that the world's gonna be singing about them without thinking that this is a person who only feeds the oligarchs. This is a person that does not even give a damn about who they are, or whether they're white or black or what. And so that's how they were in a founding out stage, right? Because all these crazy things were happening. People are crying about the living standards. People are crying about they can't feed themselves. People are crying about how they're being, removed from their jobs. But you voted for this. This is what you wanted. The rule of the game is that you sleep on the bed that you laid. And so this applies to everything that all these group of people are going through. Honestly, I really want to know what you think about this video, because indeed, the more you fuck around is the more you'll find out. I'm your host and presenter, Generic Stories. I didn't want to say much, but that's all I had for this. I'm just going to be asking you, guys, I know maybe you've watched until you've reached this part, but I'm just going to be asking you, if you feel like my videos that I try to share with you offers value to you, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel. Please, if you can, join my membership and really see what I have for you. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.